Pause for dramatic effect, or it might have been I clicked the wrong thing. Good afternoon and welcome to Flory Models Live. Here we are at 3 o'clock on the 17th of April 2020. I don't know how well this is going to work. To be honest, we've had for the first time a message pop up saying live stream was unavailable from YouTube. So we had to restart the stream again, and it seems to be holding, it's working now. So if we suddenly disappear or drop out, bear with us, press F5 and refresh it after a few minutes, and we'll try and start it again. But I've never had that message pop up before. So, but it does seem to be all good now, and well, it seems to be all right. I think we're right now. The viewers are going up, the likes are going up, and there's messages coming in. So I'm going to take that as a win that we are live.
So yeah, we are. I've just that's on our chat.
Yes. Cool. That's all right. So it's a weird message. Never had it before. Just never been told you can't live stream, is unavailable, but it is seem to be doing it now, and it's saying everything connection is excellent. So we're going to take that as a we're okay. Anyway, good afternoon. Trust you're all doing very well. Lovely to be back again. It only feels like a couple of hours since we were last on. Oh yeah, we were. To be honest, this morning I've been incredibly busy doing loads of orders, post run, editing, part 11, as you can see there, mirrored back to front. Over there as well is Up With You. Again, we had trouble with that upload. It took 3 hours to upload it, so I think YouTube is definitely on a little bit of a slow go at the moment. So, but that is Up With You now. You members, you can go off and actually see that one. Basically, it talks about doing the weapons fit, doing the pylons, weathering your weapons, and then obviously fixing, which is totally dry and clear now, the epoxy resin for the acrylic stand and mounting it and things like that. Okay, there is probably going to be another 2 parts, looking at the way the editing's falling at the moment, which I will do a load more editing tomorrow, so I think there will be another 2 parts on this one before it's finished. I thought maybe the next part will, and that'll be it, but we don't want to rush it, so we're covering all the details. So part 12 will be basically all about the photo etch going onto this one, and then we've already primed up our little pilot man. He's all ready, he's got his head done as well, so he's sorted to go in, and then obviously we've got to do the heat effect for the nozzle on the back and then properly mount it, and it'll be good to go. But he's unmasked now, and that's always the nice bit when you unmask and you think, thank God it's not full of overspray. I always think that's a win. But yes, we were discussing it, saying it's quite nice how with the attackers you can scrape clean them as well. So if you do get a tiny bit of overspray, you can come in there with a sharp cocktail stick and just scratch it off the actual clear part, and it doesn't affect the clear part at all. So it's actually a little bit of a win there. We're saying it must be quite a milder lacquer, shall we say, than your other ones, because normally they make a mess of your clear parts, but these don't. So that worked an absolute treat on there. So good. Are we all good? How is everyone?
Yeah, I'm really well. Yeah, same as you. Really busy morning. Doing this and catching up. So just a thing to make everybody aware of. I got a load of boxes yesterday on the delivery because we was obviously waiting for them. Unfortunately, it wasn't the size that I actually needed, but they've come this afternoon. So everything that sort of a model kit size that people are waiting on that's not over the dispatch note is going tomorrow. So I'm going in, they'll be dispatched tomorrow, so we should be all up to date with everybody who's waiting. So I do apologise, this is some of the orders have taken a lot longer than others to get out. Like I say, without boxes I can't really do a lot. So but we have had some stock in as well. The Tiger Moths are going to be back in stock when we've done, and a few other bits and bobs as well, so keep an eye on the store. But yeah, apart from that, yeah, really good. Yes. I was a bit stressed when I spoke to you, but I'm
You were at 9:30 this morning. You were a little bit antsy.
Yes, I think that might be the word. Yes,
bloody boxes.
Irritated.
Yes.
So yeah, it's obviously it's how the couriers are working. They must be just flat out, and obviously with staffing and stuff like that, it's I've had one come today. I've had one box come from one courier in one van, and then from the same company I've ordered from came on another van with a different driver. So they're just not coming out together. And you know, if you've got 2 orders, and this is obviously what happened with the boxes, like I say, some come yesterday and then the rest of them have come today. So it's one of them, we've just got to put up with it and carry on. So
Yeah, I must admit, we were talking about it earlier. We were saying what I might do just for UK. Rest of the world, you'll still be tracked and all the rest of it. But the UK ones, there's not a lot of point in it at the moment because they just write COVID-19. So what probably will do is it'll drop the price a little bit on the postage. Is that as of next week, I'll be sending out all the UK orders from Flory Models, just normal post. That way they just shove them through your door and away you go, because they're basically doing that anyway. If it's a big order, obviously, then it'll still go tracked, so you've got your insurance side of it. But for the little stuff, we'll basically just self-insure with it and do it that way. The big ones, we have got a couple of orders, and when you look at the tracking, they're in customs in the US, and they've been there a while. And like I was saying to Matt, I'm sure they're sat in a cage in a corner and no one's got round to doing that particular one. But they are working their way through. They are getting there. But like everything, I think it's just, there's probably going to be a backlog like Christmas post, So hopefully they will find their way through. But anything that goes outside the UK, is tracked and insured. And in the UK, it's just like a sign for service as well. So there's no real tracking on it. You just know what it's got there. But obviously I'm still going to do it tracked outside of the UK, but in the UK we'll just send them out standard post without having a signature required, because no one's signing anything anyway. So, and they seem to be going quicker if they're not on a sign for, so that's the thing as well. So yes, we'll be doing that. So that will be the thing for next week as we make our way into week whatever it is. 5. Week 5 is it?
No idea. What day is it?
I think it is.
Yes.
Lost track.
Lost track. Anyway, up with on the site as well today we have we have Nathan's part 4 covering. Do you want to talk us through it, Nath?
It's kind of all the peripheral bits. So I can't remember where I started, but I've done the engines, the nose tail, like putting nose weight in. The important bits towards the end, the BOS pods are not quite right at the back. You just need to slice them off and rotate them a little bit. Yes. So it's kind of like taking it up to the point where the construction's basically finished. So it's just all the little peripheral construction parts, really. So the next video, this will be in primer. It'll be more about painting than anything else.
I think what we need to do, I'm just having a thought, bit of an epiphany here. We could do like a director's cut, and you could talk us through as we watch the video, and then we can, rib you all the way through it as well. So, but that was ingenious. But I've never ever thought of doing that in my life.
Yeah, it's just because I've done it a couple of times, and you're just having to drill into metal balls, and it's like a nightmare. So this gives you just a little bit of a void at the front for you to drill.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's kind of like finally found a use for my hole punch.
Yeah, but all those years of having a hole punch, now I know what to do it. But I must admit, I never thought of doing that. That's ingenious. And also, is your Gorilla Glue going off because it looked a bit thick?
Yeah.
When you was putting it in, I was thinking, Christ.
I'm squeezing really
that was
hard.
it. You could see your knuckles going white. Yeah, that was it. Oh yes, how we've all had that moment. Here it is. I'm expecting it to flow out and sink in, and it's coming out like toothpaste. I give
myself a hernia getting that to do.
But look at his finger. His positive cuticles are turning blue. That's it. We've all done it. Quick cut away before he goes, ow, my hand. But yes, I must admit, this bit here you was talking about, obviously the panel line going on the front to the nose. Yeah. Yes, I must admit I spotted that.
I did chuckle like mad on Brit Modeler when this fella cut off the front 2 mil of his aircraft. I mean, it was just a mess. He made a mess of it.
Yeah.
As he counted the number of panel lines and counted that join as an extra panel line. Never thought to check what Revell had done, because every other kit, the Tornado, you paint that bit black.
Yeah.
And add it on at the end, but this one it's different. It's not that case. It would mean he just butchered his model.
It is funny though how they did it. Why didn't they just take it up to the natural panel line instead of doing it that way? That was the
honest God, I don't know. It must be.
There must be a reason for it. I just can't think of what it could be. Because as I say, every other kit doesn't do it that way.
No, it's the only one that does it. Unless it's something to get the F3 out of it, I don't know.
And then maybe because the F3's got the bigger nose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good point, actually. I bet that's what it is.
So there's 2 parts that actually went together without too much work.
Highlight of the kit.
Yeah.
So what are you saying? The molds are suffering already?
The weird thing is,
Or is it quality control?
I think when I got this one out of the box in part 1, looking at the runners, I saw the flash, and I was in for a fight with this one. Because, I mean, I have one that was unbuildable. I say that. I just lost my rag with it and binned it. But one was really bad. I've had one of these kits go together like a Tamiya.
Yeah.
And I think it's more to do with, maybe if it's moulded at the end of the day when everything's heated up and there's more flash. If you get the first one out in the morning where it's nice and crisp.
Yeah.
Because this kit that I'm building is one of the IDS ones that I think I've had floating around in the stash for a while. But there's definitely something not right in the factory.
Because it's funny, because obviously I built mine when it first came out. So what's that? 3 years ago? I think something like that.
I seem to think it was a 2014. It was longer.
Well, there you go. Because I did it when it first came out, wasn't it? And mine, I don't remember it looking like yours, especially around those speed brake areas. And that bit of flash you had on the bottom halves of it going together and stuff. I don't actually remember it being that bad. And as I say, it was a few years ago. But that's what we were saying about, I think the moulds are suffering. But it could be, like Nathan says, perhaps after it's been injection moulded and spitting out a couple of hundred, the tolerances aren't quite as sharp, you know, with the heating up process. But, yeah, definitely one of those sort of strange ones. Or is it because perhaps Revell uses not say cheaper, but a different styrene to other manufacturers, and that's why they're more prone to sink marks and all of those different things, you know?
This is the maddest bit of the instructions, the way they have you insert the thrust reverser arms. Like, build everything, then put these tiny little bits in.
Yeah.
Get that. Just build the engines off. This is Chris is building the Desert Babe one. He couldn't do this because his parts around the back end were awful. But I'm mixed molded.
All right.
But I'm just the bit with the undercarriage. You can build the undercarriage off this kit and add it at the end. And again, just use the undercarriage bays as a jig. You can build the engines and have them off and paint them and add them at the very, very end. So, I mean, it's just, that's the nose with a bit of flash. It's this stealth flash. I can't describe it any other way. You can't spot it until you get like a part that won't fit, and then there's a little bit of flash around at the end of that. It just wouldn't. You could have clamped it, but there's a tiny little bit of flash hiding there on the nose. So that's the story of this kit, really, is flash that you can't see.
You ought to have the intro.
Yeah, that's what you could do, actually. Another flash kit.
Yeah.
Queen will let you do that.
But it's literally like 2 or 3 swipes of the sanding stick, it's gone.
Yeah.
And then the part fits. So I reckon the CAD designer thought, I've nailed it. I've done the best tornado kit ever. And then at some point between CAD and piece of plastic in a box, it all goes a bit wrong.
I've got to say that was a nice use of a Flory sanding stick there. For
that was
massive effect of.
Did you put a little thing in your disclaimer on your video saying it's got like appetizing? No, very nice job.
I say the other thing that somebody's mentioned in his chat is what we were just talking about. Phil and I mentioned earlier about the resurgence in model making. Some of it was in the Daily Telegraph.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it weren't in the Daily Mail.
Well, true.
About Airfix and have become very popular in this lockdown and stuff. So that's good. We were just saying, hopefully, there's obviously people who have picking model kits up again that's probably done them a long time ago or starting, and percentage of them might stick with the hobby and
keep at it. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean? Get addicted like we are.
I think the classic is that the telly is that awful at the moment,
Yeah.
people would rather build a old Airfix kit than watch repeats on telly and all things like that, which is quite nice. But you say the hope really is, from a hobby point of view, is that people stick at it, that it does bring them back to it, and start getting the bug for it again, and before you know it, we'll all be sort of a stronger place. Good sales. I know Airfixer was saying they've had fantastic sales of some of their old classic kits because people built them originally and they thought, do you know what, I'll build it again now.
So David's asking for a link to the Telegraph article, but it's behind the file. It's behind a paywall. So if we give you a link, you'll be able to see it without paying.
If you go to Airfix's...
they put it on their social media, haven't they?
They've got it on their social media, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go onto their Facebook and things like that for old Airfix, they've got a link to it in there, and they copied obviously bits of it and put it outwards. So yeah, have a look in there. I must admit that's where I saw it this morning and thought, oh, fair play. It is interesting because obviously sales have been very strong. Not going to deny it. So anyway, speaking of which, hi all from sunny Lancashire. Thanks for all these shows. Really great for keeping my spirits up. Looking to replace my aging stock of Alclads. What is the best alternative for a natural metal finish?
AK Extremes.
Yes, I must admit that's what you can see here. That's all the AK Extremes. They're a hybrid. They're technically a enamel-is thing. And they're really nice. The great thing about them is if you've ever sprayed Alclads, you'll know it's supposed to be very nice, thin, light coats. You build them up, you get a fantastic finish with them. These you can almost do one and done. So it's a lot easier than messing around with the other ones, really. So but that's the point of view on that one.
Yeah, they are very forgiving. Yeah,
they're very forgiving. That's the nice thing to them. And also I find them a little bit more harder wearing, unless you ask Andy, of course, who's still got wet extreme metals since whenever.
He's got to have a bad one, hasn't he, for that?
I think he's got a dodgy bottle, but yeah, I must admit I just find them very, very easy to use, very forgiving, as Matt says. The great thing with them is when you first spray them, they don't look very good. You think, oh, it's just a bit gritty, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, they sort of come to life and get very, very sort of reflective in your face.
Just let them dry.
Just let them dry, yes. Leave them to it, they'll be fine.
They will be touch dry pretty much straight away, but they're not hard, so you end up wearing through the edges, as Phil can testify.
Yes.
But give him a day or so, 24 hours, and they are pretty rock solid. It takes a bit to get through them, so yes.
Neil says, would you mind if I ask, will you be stocking the blue line of Hataka paints in the future?
The next line I think we're going for is a red line. We've discussed this, haven't we? So we're going to red line. The blue line, possibly, but it won't be this year for sure, because we're going to do the red line this year at some point when Attacker are back up and running.
Yeah.
And that's the next stuff we're going to stock. So
could I just point out, I winced when I saw you do this. I was waiting for you to stick the blade straight through your finger. I thought we were going to have an archery burst and everything. Just pointing this out. That's why I don't use knives like these. I thought it's very good control action there. When I saw you do it, I watched it this morning. I was like, oh my god, I can't watch.
There's nothing real from this one.
But just on about the blue line, we can get the blue line paint sets in a set if anybody's interested. You just have to send us an email or whatever, and I can tag them onto an order. We don't actually keep them in stock, but we can get them. Again, we're sort of stock dependent on our supplier at the minute, because as far as I know, Attacker is shut. So once our supplier are out, we'll be out, and until Attacker are back open again. So I don't quite
Facebook now and see what.
I don't quite know what the situation is in Poland at the minute with their lockdown and how they're working. So
I must admit, the Polish lockdown's not made it onto our news, as it we get America, Germany, France, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Italy.
Italy, yeah.
I'm still upset because when they do the graphs of the country and it says like London, and then it's like, you know, the northeast, northwest, Midlands, southwest, we're not even on it. It's like we're in a minority down here. We don't make the proper, on a graph scale, we're not on it. Yet we're on the official one where you watch it at 5 o'clock, but when it comes to the news, we're not on it. I feel like we're a third world country down here, which we probably are, clearly.
No comment. Yeah. So.
So yes, very nice, and some very nice reference pictures as well, mate. Lovely job.
That's all react pictures. Yeah, it's just the thing with the Boss Pod is it angles out at an angle, so when they fire the flares, they obviously
come all away.
Revell, because they did it on a sprue where they've done it. There's two in the box, but they've taken like a compromise where theirs just point straight down.
Yeah.
It's not a deal breaker, but it's the sort of thing that I get fussy about.
Very good.
Just Andy on our chat. Yeah, we've had an attacker delivery today, which was one of the boxes that came this afternoon. And with the clear varnishes, the attacker gloss varnish is out of stock. I can't get any of that. But if you're on about the guns ones, I'm going to put an order in with them either tomorrow or Monday for restocks of gun stuff. So again, I don't quite know what they have in stock at the minute, because I don't get a live stock list with them, you know, what they have and what they don't. I just sort of go off a spreadsheet and go, right, well, I have 10 of them, 20 of them or whatever, and then what turns up, turns up. So fingers crossed, I think they're okay. So we should be getting hopefully a restock of them as well at some point next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, as you say, the thing is, European stuff, although Spain seems to be coming in okay, isn't it, with AK, but everything else is a little bit hit and miss.
Yeah.
With getting things in.
Yeah, well, I definitely will say, if you are waiting, because you're saying you're waiting for some colour, if you're waiting for Insignia White, Traffic White, any of the whites in the single bottles, forget it, because they're not in, they're out of stock at our supplier, because I did try and get some, so there's none at all, I'm afraid. So
It'll be over soon enough and things will
yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you need an alternative white, then the Tamiya LP range is brilliant, or just normal XF2. They're good enough. And I think Finger doing Insignia White, don't they, guns? So yes.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, Insignia White's one of those weird ones because it's a funny colour, because every manufacturer does a different shade. That's a classic example of Insignia White, because I must admit I tried Hitakas and wasn't exactly brilliant with it. It looks a bit too creamy to me.
Yeah.
One of those weird ones. So yes, very good. Right, just keep an eye on chart. I tried to use the AK Extremes today. I painted it over Stynel Res and it fried it up. Any ideas? Pass.
Ooh, don't know.
Yeah.
I've never used Stynel Red Primer, so I can't say anything, you know. You just spray over it.
Isn't Stynel Res the one you need to leave for ages before you can sand it?
Yeah, it's a bit like the Vallejo, isn't it? It's got that polyurethane.
Yeah, otherwise, as I say, I don't know actually. I must admit, because you know, it's the same as everybody else's, isn't it? I don't know, because I have sprayed over it and I must admit I haven't had any problems with it, but again it may be that it wasn't quite gone off and it's etched into it because it was a little bit soft underfoot, shall we say.
Don't know. David's asked on our Model Master acrylics, what's the best thinner to use? We can't get it over here, so I've got no idea. I've never used it.
Yeah.
I've only ever used their enamels occasionally.
Yeah, I've got some of the enamels. Actually, I think the enamels are quite nice.
Yeah, I must admit I've got all the lot of Russian colours for the enamels and aggressor colours all in enamels because they're the only people who did it.
Just put some in a bottle top and experiment. See what happens.
Yeah.
X28.
So it depends if it's a proper acrylic or hybrid acrylic. I don't know. Like I say, like what Nathan says, just a bit of experimenting with whatever you've got, really. Question: when adding lighting to a plane landing lights, do you think covering the lights with crystal clear and clear Tamiya paint would work? From Richard to you, Phil, because I've never lit a plane up.
What, are you on about LED lighting them, or just?
I presume so.
Again, if you're doing LED lighting, I tend to not use like a PVA glue or anything else like that. I tend to use, like, you know, we were saying, just a normal gloss paint right over the top of them and do it literally that way. If you're doing just, you know, the effect of a light, I usually use like a chrome pen in the back of it, and then I'll put a blob of crystal clear, and when it goes through you get the slight bulge and the various thing to it, and it gives a very fake looking light. It looks quite good from a distance. But again, with the lighting thing, you've got that scale problem as well, because a lot of lighting kits out there are way too bright, so you need to sort of tone them down a little bit. Some of them you can do, and you can bring them back a bit, but again, you can overcoat them to tone them down.
Yeah, he's using the magic modeling lighting sets.
Yeah, so again, it depends on which set you've got and all things like that. What you can do as well is that some of them have the LED, and they've got quite a large lens on it, and you can sand them into shape. I've done it before, so you actually, this becomes the light, so you poke it in and it's hanging way too far out, and you sand it in. If you go back to when I did the F-16s, for instance, those ones I had quite big LEDs on it, and I just sanded them into the shape of the nav lights that go on the sides of the intake, and then painted the back half of them. So it's actually, the LED is the entire glass section of the light, and that worked quite well. And the same as I did the one on the top, with the flashing one. Originally that's just a long tall one, and you needed to make it sort of triangle shape, so we just sanded it physically, and then if you put a drop of clear gloss over the top, because obviously where you've sanded it you won't probably be able to polish it, and that will do it as well. And again, it aids in dulling it down a little bit, because LEDs have this, from head on they are piercing. Off angle you can't see them, so by sanding the LED itself, it diffuses the light and gives it a more natural look. And things like that as well, so that works quite well. It was always the problem with LEDs back in the day, because they were just so strong straight on but had no spread. So it was easier. I always used to actually physically sand the LED, just to make it a little bit more sort of blend in the light around and to push the light around, especially if you're doing it for flashing lights and things, because obviously the light's going straight up or straight down, it's not coming out to the side, so you need to sand them flat to diffuse it a little bit. And again, putting somewhat over, like a satin coat over the top of them, or even a flat coat, just to diffuse the light and make it a little bit more realistic than being a piercing light.
Paul's asked as well, are we doing the Lysander for a pre-order when it's re-released, the Edard one? Yeah, I think we will, to be honest. It's a popular kit, so yes.
Yes. Just
as soon as we've got a price and sort of a date when it's going to be re-released, then yes, put it up on the site.
Bobby's saying there that he's been wondering if you can use X20A Tamiya with Model Master acrylics. You can, because that's what I used to do. Because as I say, I haven't got their own Model Masters acrylic thinner, so yes. Question: have you built the Russian Project 172nd AN26 Curl? If not, do you know of any Russian project kits that are any good? No. What do we know about them, Matt?
Not a lot. I presume that's an A model kit, because I know they do one of them. The man to ask is not on.
No. He's not in there.
Our Russian expert has decided to have the afternoon off. I hope he's watching.
Does it?
So
2004 kit.
What? Sorry, Dave.
The 2004 kit.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit crude. Best thing to do, Todd, is when John's on, is put the question up again, because he'll probably know a lot more about this than I will, to be honest. But yeah, if it's an A model kit from, when did you say, 2000 and what?
2004.
Yeah, it's going to take a bit of building, probably.
Yes. One for you, Nate. Tony says, is there a way to convert the Revell 148 scale Tornado to the ECR version? Could I use the IDS as a starting point?
Yes, but you've got a problem underneath. The ECR, there's a sensor or something here, and at the moment Revell haven't released that. So if you've got a Hobby Boss kit, you might be able to scavenge from that, but you've got a sensor here. Everything else is reasonably straightforward, like get rid of the cannons, but you're just going to have issues with the sensor fit underneath.
So why do you think Revell then's not released the ECR version?
I think they will. It's just a matter of time, and it's just a matter of time because inside my box of bits, the Italians have these weird conical aerials on them, and they've included the aerial for an Italian IDS as well. So there's possibilities that an IDS from Italy and an ECR will come out in time. It'll be on their list of to-dos. It's an easy enough thing for Revell to do it. It's just an extra spray for the ECR with a few harm missiles on it, and then hey presto, you've got an ECR.
Yeah.
Done it in their 32nd scale. So at the moment, without a hobby boss kit, you're going to have to do a fair bit of scratch building. That's how I do it. Buy a hobby boss kit and build an IDS with that, and throw ECR parts on the Revell one.
Yeah. Can I just answer Matt's question on here? He's put, anyone know if AK1 effect fluid will work with attacker? Which attacker? Are we on about orange line or red line? It definitely works with the orange line because it works really well actually with that. So yes, it will. Just don't wait too long before you sort of try your chipping though if it's the orange line, because the lacquer thinners will neutralise the water effect after a while.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of the guys here are saying about leaving Steinor Res or any of the other ones like it 24 hours before overcoating with it. Seems to be the thing there. Two Heads Talking says, Phil, can you ask your resident tornado expert, that's you Nate now, officially now you are Tornado, for this week, when we move on to Lightnings, and Luftwaffe will come around again next week, how he dealt with the flaps on the Revell kit, and how he set the angles on the leading edge flaps and slats.
That's going to be in part 5 or 6. I hate doing the flaps and slats deployed on this because they break on me every flipping time.
Yes.
In part 2, I've built the flaps up and they're floating around in here. In the next part, we'll put the slats on. Obviously, I'm just going to paint it all first. So in the next fortnight, you'll have the answer to that. But just slowly and fiddly, and yeah. My best advice is don't put the flaps and slats deployed.
Yeah, but it looks so much better with it down.
It doesn't look cool with them down, so I'm coming to that. That'll probably be, if it's not in the next part, it might be in the part after. Because I put the slats and flaps on at the very, very end once they're all painted up.
They're asking about your book that you keep flashing, and please don't, Nathan. Just put it away.
It's a secret book.
But it's not very secret when you're flashing it to everybody on the internet, is it? And now they want to look at your book.
Show us your book.
Show us your book. Now put it away, or I'll start. Oh, that's it now.
That's it now. It's happened.
I'll tell you what. Phil, shall we just leave him to it?
That's it, right. I'll meet you in the pub. No, we can't even do that.
I might put the overhead on just modelling why Nathan deals with his backlash.
No. I'm not saying anything.
No, we're having a Luftwaffe paint-free show today. We've had it all week.
Unless I mention it.
Don't bring it up.
Don't poke me with a stick, I will.
Mark's asking me how the javelin's coming along. If I do the javelin, I can't do the tornado. I just have to sort of put the javelin to one side and get the tornado finished. Nicely segueing to something else.
Yeah, deflect it away. To be honest with you, on that note, I might do it in a minute. I've slightly changed mine. Hold on, where's my cameras? So yes, I've been in and painted it black round here. So the idea is, I think it's easier to mask internally than externally. So what I've done oversprayed in black and the walkway. So I'm going to mask these, and then we'll give it another coat of gold grade right over it. And I've got to come back in with white because I never did the tops of these because I didn't know it had them. And now I've got the instructions for it. I've actually got to do the control surfaces and the flaps in white as well. So I've got to come back with both colours. So I thought it's easier to do this. So this is just had a quick coat of flat black right over it, or in my case XF85. And then what I'll do is I'm going to mask over these for the actual walkways on the wings and the actual splash gut black for the exhausts get them masked up, and then repaint it again afterwards. So that's why I've done it, and I might do it a little bit later. I'll get them done. But yes, hindsight is a wonderful thing. The black on the front of the panel, the anti-glare panel, I can do that afterwards, that's not a problem. But just trying to get this conforming to the right shape on the inside would be a nightmare. So I thought, you know what, stuff it, I'll just spray it. So whilst I was doing my little man, I did that as well. So yes, a little bit later on I will attempt to mask around a corner.
Been a very back to front build, that, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Well, most of it I've been doing without the instructions or any idea of what colour it was going to be or anything. So it's one of those mystery builds. But it's coming together. He's all right. My worry is I'm going to unmask it to be full of crap. So it's going to have a tarp over the canopy. So watch this space, and we'll be doing canopies with it. Steiner Res is sandable after 30 minutes. And only have seen a reaction if it didn't clean the model beforehand. Okay, everybody has different ways of doing things. What is the best flanker that is still available, either 48 scale or 72nd?
Is it Hobby Boss?
Hobby Boss, or either the Trumpy one or the Zarevstra 72nd. I presume we're talking,
In a minute. Rebel have got one.
Look, I did mine as a live build.
Yeah, but that's the Zarevstra kit, Nave.
Right.
This is the Hobby Boss one.
Yeah.
That's
I built the. Oh, I can't remember.
that's
Hobby
Trumpy.
Boss one. It was all right. Was it Trumpy or Hobby Boss?
That's the Trumpy one, isn't it? You've got there.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Well, Trumpy Hobby Boss, same thing.
Yeah.
Yes, the little 72nd, absolutely fantastic, gorgeous kit. I did it as a live spray job, wasn't it? It's one of those ones. So
And I built the Zarevstra one, which again, the 72nd Zarevstra one, which is great kit. Really, really good kit. And I know you did the 33 before it obviously got damaged, didn't you?
yes.
And so did Andy, which lives at the shop, and you did your digital super duper camo on yours. So
Yeah, that's the one we saw at Riat, and we were like, wow.
Yeah.
We all bought one, didn't we?
So what happened was we all saw it at Riat, and then on the way home everyone bought a flanker of some description and ended up doing them all. But again, if for people who don't watch us all the time, you miss out on all of this, because we did that as a series of live shows, wasn't it? We all built a flanker, so we all built the same thing. So some of us did it wings up, some were folded down, mine got destroyed.
Yeah.
Terrible day.
Terrible accident.
A terrible accident.
Tell you what,
Pix
you'll
killed
get
it.
commented on the most.
Was it? Did you?
Yeah, it's like, oh, how was this done and that? They sat there and masked it with bits of masking tape, and then you'll see the look of horror and when they realise, oh, geez, yeah.
So they go off and buy something else.
It was one of those, like, was it? Oh, I can't remember the name of the company. Hannants sell it.
Yes, they do.
It's like a weird blue vinyl thing.
Foxpot, is it? Is it Foxpot?
Foxpot, that's it. Yeah, it's all right actually.
Yeah. I tell you what, it's worth the effort. I know you put a lot of effort into doing it, and actually, when it's finished, it does look brilliant.
Yeah.
Because Attacker do the paint set for it, don't they? Ukrainian digital camo set, and they do the one for the SU-25 on the front, the grey one as well.
Yeah.
We've got both sets are out now, but yeah, it does look nice.
Mm-hmm. So what we saying then? Where would you go then for a 72nd?
Zarevstra outward for value for money, I think.
Zvezda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What about 48th?
Oh, I'll be boss.
Yeah.
But the Academy one's just old now, and
The Academy one's not even in the fight anymore. That's,
no.
Yeah.
And Kitty Hawk are bringing one out, aren't they? But I still think
For straightforward build and everything else,
Yeah,
as I say, there's some nice aftermarket as well for the 48 scale one. You get the nozzles by that Russian company and things, isn't it? They do some nice bits and pieces for it. So yes.
Yeah.
Phil, working on the 132nd F-16 Hasegawa, 17 years old, raised panel lines all over. What is the best way to describe new lines? Any tools or methods? Thanks. What I tend to do is that for raised panel lines, I sand them off flush, so you can see them because they look, you can see where they were before, and then go back over them. And then normally I give them a polish right the way over, So then that way you've got best of both worlds. You've removed them, can see exactly where they were, and then you just polish it over them, and then that sort of shallows them out. If you've got any raised bits and stuff like that, give them a clean out and do it exactly the same way. But again, that really is an old kit. That would be an old, what, block 15, I suppose, would have been at 17 years old. It would be the old A type, wouldn't it?
It is. It's the F16A. I think you used to have black noses.
Yeah, it's the old block 10, isn't it? Something like that. Yeah, Jesus, proper old one. But yeah, do you remember when Revell did that kit? They did one as well, and it had a lighting set inside it.
Really?
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I'm sure they did back in the day, in 32nd. Really old school. They did a series of them. They had lighting sets in them. I'm sure, wasn't it? They did the F16 CL, whatever it was, XL, the Delta Wing job as well.
That as well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at this F16. That's a hell of a rescribing job, isn't it? Not too bad on the wings, but ooh.
Yeah, there's quite a lot going on those.
That spine might be a bit complicated and stuff.
But do you know what? If you don't give it a go, then you're gonna. Scribing's like my nemesis. It's that one thing that I'm just like, ugh. But no, give it a go and good luck with it.
Has anyone? Go on.
Sorry, I've just all our American friends are impressed with your T-shirt and flag behind you.
Can you tell I've been on holiday?
Yeah, that's it.
Guess where I went.
Has anyone ever added an engine detail to a 1/32 jet engine? Take your pick. I've done loads. So let's have a look. Just have a look back in time. I suppose the one everyone remembers most with me is when I did it to the Intruder, which would be find the Intruder. Where is it? Here we go. And I forgot all the pictures on this. Oh, I have. Oh, look, that's handy. So I did the coat cam maintenance. So we did. Oh, hold on, web. There we go. So I did scratch built all the interior on a 32nd Intruder. Then we hung the engine and we added all wiring and detail and various bits and pieces to the engine when she was hanging outside. Saw a black and white photo of it once and thought, oh, that looks cool. So that's what we did. So we went round and as if it's having maintenance on the engine. So we stuck it on the outside and did it like that. But I've also done it on an F4 Phantom. I had it with all the panels open. There it is. We did all bits and pieces on that one. So yeah, we did all the work in here because there's no detail in here. So we added panels and we put in some fake ribs and some hosing and bits and pieces. I'm not saying it's 100% accurate, but I think it looks a bit better than obviously having nothing in there. So yeah. But again, I've done it on a few things. I'm just trying to think. Phantom had it. The Jaguar had it. Yes, a few bits and pieces. Come back through time with me. A magical thing on Sight and Sound. There we go. This one had it as well. Oh, don't think you'll see it in here. It's old school. It was in the days. Oh, there you go. So this is where I did all the stuff on the inside. So we stripped the back off. It was nerve-wracking when you cut the entire spine off a Phantom and it goes all wobbly on you. So again, that one had lights in it, but also we did the cockpit. We did the engine. Is in here somewhere? Where's the engine? Sorry, it was 1, 2, miss a few in those days. Where's the engine work music? But we had lighting as well in there. In the days before, well, proper lighting. Can't see who did the engine on that one. But yeah, I'm sure we got some pictures a bit further down here. Got any pictures? On engine hanging out the back. So there it is, all with the spine open and the bits. There we go. So we had a bit of an engine at the back with some detail on it. So yes, various ones. Again, it's one of those things. Look at your references and then get a feel from it from there. You know, that's what my biggest bit of advice is, and then just see what you can do with what you've got. You know, lead wiring always works really well, plasticard making up your boxes, but again, you're never going to have it 100%, but you can certainly add a little bit more detail to normally than what the kit's got. So yes. Ever done any scratch building? As in like engines and things?
Not really. Nathan's a bit more of a scratch builder than me.
Yeah, not so much recently.
Hmm.
Not since about the last 5 years when it was all about filling tables at model shows.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun getting the old plastic card out and stuff. And I always wanted to do the Tornado with the 2 engine panels dropped out the back because you can see a load of detail. But the problem for me doing the Tornado is none of the kits even have anything to start with. So you'd have to literally scratch build the whole engine from ground up. That's the thing that stopped me doing it, I think.
Is there no aftermarket full engines then?
The closest you've got to a full engine for a Tornado is the bits that you get in here, and the aftermarket companies have just basically done seamless versions of this.
Right.
So yeah, that's the closest we've got at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's not impossible, but it's been another job.
Going back to our chat, Chris has put up about the 30-second trumpeter flanker. And is it worth it or not? It's
The 30-second one, again, you have to be careful. There's 2 boxes of it out. The one of them, they fixed a load of issues with it because the intakes were wrong. It had lots of wrong bits, but they never made a song and dance of it, but they fixed it all.
Yeah.
And funny enough, we got one in, didn't we, for somebody last year, wasn't it? Something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, add a nosy in the box like you do, and it comes with both lots, so it's got all of the new parts and the old parts in there. But it looks like they redid the intakes, they redid the nose, all the bits people complained about. They did it, but I never saw or remember them actually mentioning it anywhere that they'd redone it all. But the kit came in, and it's the standard old box art and all the rest of it on it, and it doesn't say anything on it that it comes with the new parts. But you open it up, it's got boxes in there with all the new stuff, and you get the old ones as well. And it just seems weird that they didn't make a song and dance to say they'd fixed a lot of the issues with it. So, bit weird.
It's a big kit.
It's massive. It's
a
huge.
Yes. Yeah, really is.
Like you're saying, a flanker in kit form, as I've got it sat up there, my 72nd one is the same scale as a 32nd Gladiator, a 48 scale Sea Vixen, and pretty much any 48 scale jet. It's the same size in 72nd. So when you're thinking of upgoing, it is a monster, absolute monster.
So I bet it's not far off an F-16, is it, in 48?
Yeah, that's it. A 48 scale F-16, yeah, it's about the same, I would have thought. So yeah, incredible. It is a huge aircraft.
But yeah, as in the kit, it is the only one in 32nd anyway. So if you want a 32nd flanker, I think that is it. So there is corrections for it if you're not happy. A load of companies do different things, so you can chuck a bit at it if you're not completely happy with it out of the box. There is options for it. It looks stunning when it's done. I did have one, but I've sold mine. Did have the 32nd because I bought it at a show, didn't you remember?
Yeah.
Field show a long time ago, but I did a swap, or I sold it to a guy who comes in the shop a lot. He had it. I think he's actually built it, Neil. He started to build it.
Yeah.
So even he says when he comes in, it's a big.
They are very impressive. You see them at the shows, and they do look very nice, especially if they've been, a bit of time spent on them and bringing them up. Because again, it's such a big kit, you need to put the details in. Otherwise, it looks like a toy. It's just of that scale. The trouble with the big kits. But again, if it's done right, I've seen some absolutely stunning ones done before. But yeah, you need somewhere big to put it or hang it on the wall.
And that done in the Ukrainian digital camo.
Yes.
Stunning, because you can get, because they do that. What did I say the company was?
Foxbot.
Foxbot. Do all the scales. So the 72nd, 48th, and 32nd for the digital camo masks. So yeah, impressive.
I've received my Flory washes yesterday. What is the proper order to application? Decals, dot oil wash, and then wash, or wash then oils? I do wash then oils. I always do my oils last, purely because once the clay wash is on and dry, it won't move. Even if you rehydrate it with mineral spirits or enamel thinners, it still won't move. It will stay put. And what happens is the oils tend to grip very well to the clay, and I like the effect it gives. So yeah, so do your decals, seal it, put down a satin coat or something, because you're going to need something like that on there anyway for your oils to work on it, and then go the clay. You don't have to seal the clay afterwards though, so don't think about, oh, it needs an overcoat. Let the clay work with the oils. It actually works really well, both of them, you know, in conjunction with each other, because to be honest, this has got wash and then it's got oils over the top. So the bit on the back here, the reason it looks slightly darker is because the oils are gripping onto the clay, so it's actually working with it, so it gives it that nice faded look, and grinds it down quite nicely.
Neil's just asked about us with what they are, you know, like the sell my models and all that sort of stuff. Basically, our auctions that we're going to do, they're just on hold until this is.
Yeah, we can't do anything at the moment till this is all sorted out and whatnot.
It's still, you know, as far as we're going to happen at some point this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, we still will. It's just that obviously at the moment we can't go and get kits and, you know, sorting out all the bits and pieces that all go with it. It's all on hold.
Yeah.
Question for Nathan: how long approximately does it take you to build a tornado with minimal distractions?
I remember when we had a I can't remember how many years ago it was, Wingman did like a decal sheet with 18 options, and we decided we were going to try and build a lot, so I was knocking them out as quick as I could. It's difficult to say because it's got work and stuff in the way at the time, but I'd say a fortnight of modelling time, so that would be a couple of hours a day, so quick bit of math, something like, I reckon it's somewhere between 20 and 30 hours, because it's just a kit that needs time for clamps to do the work. You can't rush build it because it's a fiddly little thing. But I reckon it's a good 2 weeks work if you're doing a couple of hours a night.
I always have to say, yeah, how long for a 30-second?
No, 70 seconds.
Oh, 70 seconds.
72. Oh, sorry. That's a much more straightforward kit. So you should be able to build that in a week. Because it's basically two halves and a couple of wings. It depends how many weapons and fiddly stuff you do like that. If you're doing it clean without any weapons load, definitely get that done in a week. But I'm a bit glacial at the best of times, really, aren't I? So.
Well, when I used to do my commission work, as you say, I used to, you know, you roughly have in your head how many hours it takes to do something. A 48 scale aircraft, so in those days it would be something like Hasegawa's 48th range of jets. I used to allow 35 hours to do it. That's what I'm budgeting on, you know, and again, that's to have nothing, that's straightforward out of the box build and nothing too technical on the paint job. So a standard like the Phantoms in there with, you know, with the white and the drab, sorry, not drab, light gold grey. You know, I used to say with the paint job, with the weathering, all the bits and pieces, it's usually about 35 hours. And then if you're talking about putting seats into it, because that used to be a standard upgrade, ejector seats, perhaps aftermarket decals, then probably 40 hours you'd be looking at. And that's with no distractions, because I do it locked in a cell.
I mean, I can build these things without looking at the instructions now. But that speeds you up. If you've built the aircraft before, that don't have to speed you up because you know where the pitfalls are, don't you? You know about that with Hornets. You could build that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because people
you know
say
where
like,
the trouble
you know,
is.
It's like saying like 30 hours to build. It's a bit like when I was doing the Hornets, I always had 3 on the go per week. I'd finish 3 a week, but I might have up to 15 on the go at any one time, and it speeds it up because you've got stuff drying as you're doing other things. So I might do construction, for instance, for a couple of hours just doing wings, and then you leave them off to one side, they're drying, and when you're into the painting stage with primers and that, you've got them, you know, they're in primer, they're drying for a day whilst you're then back doing cockpits or whatever. So, and that's how I managed to do 3 aircraft a week. I was doing 3 48 scale Hornets a week. You know, but again, so when you think, well, it doesn't work if you're saying 35 hours, but if you were running multiple aircraft as well, you haven't got all the drying times and all the things involved with it. And when you know that aircraft well, you can put it together blindfolded, literally. You know, so you can just whip through it so much quicker because you're not spending time looking at instructions and working out how things go. And also, like obviously Nate does with his, he knows where all the pitfalls are, so you go straight to it and clean up those bits because you know exactly where. It's not like you're test fitting, because you didn't even bother probably test fitting now because you know it needs doing before you get to test fit. So you do it, then test fit it, and oh yeah, that's all right, or a little bit more. It's funny how you work these quirks in. What's a good place for a 30-second spit or hurricane? Or do you mean what's a good kit? A good place for them, hanging on the wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be honest, I got my Spit and Mustang down there, and they're the Tamiya ones, and I did think about seriously putting them, you know, sort of together, because I've got them with the engines, but I have got all the bits to cover them back up, and actually sticking them up on the wall, because it'd be quite nice with them up there.
Anyway, best kit.
But if it's best kit,
Tamiya to be a Spitfire.
yeah.
There's only the fly kit, isn't there, in 30 seconds?
Yeah, I was going to say, with 30-second, what have you got? You got the old Rebel one, monogram one, in it.
Yeah.
Got Pacific Coast, that was it. I was looking at Pacific Coast models, but they've long been out.
Yeah, you've struggled to find them. Yeah, it's the Fly Hurricanes. Again, Andy's not on because he's built one.
Yeah.
It comes out okay, needs some work, but it, you know, it looks like a Hurricane.
I still maintain the Hurricane is so overlooked. I know obviously Airfix have just, and it's just been released this week, hasn't it? It's come back out.
Yes. Yeah.
But again,
Where's your Hurricane?
do you know what? I don't know.
I ain't got it.
Oh, sorry, I have. Here it is. Sorry, it's hidden behind Halifax. I thought you had it.
No, not up at the top.
Richard's made a good point. The Revell Spitfire in 32, a lot cheaper than the
Yeah,
Tamiya
it's
one.
okay for a basic Spitfire, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Put your overhead on, Phil.
Hold on, it's a bit dusty. I'm embarrassed to show it.
Could do the how to clean a model bit.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it, yeah,
how
okay.
to clean your model.
Is that the one you built in a week before you went to Alaska?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was funny enough. Yeah. So yes.
Because that's where you tried the AK paints. I didn't like them and just went back to.
No, was it this one or was it the Vallejo?
Was it-
No, Italieri's paint, wasn't it?
Oh, was it that one?
Yeah, I tried the Italieri's paint, and that's what's on this one. Yeah, whose was it that I tried? Wasn't that the Bomber? When I was doing the HE111, we tried the
I don't know.
AK's paint, and it was horrible, and I gave up.
I don't know. Yeah, you couldn't get it because you have to put it on in thin coats and build it up, and you were just getting annoyed. I think.
Yeah, I was getting bored at that point.
So yeah. But yeah, that kit's come back out, so we'll be stocking that and the Mark 1 Spitfire. I've ordered them, so they should be in next week as well.
Yes, if I
And
go
that is
closer,
good kit.
you can see this is actually, I must admit, I know a lot of people say about Airfix, I really need to set this camera up a little bit better. There we go. It doesn't, it's trying to lock me matte. There we go. But it's got very nice details. As you can see, it's all recessed and raised where it needs to be, which is very nice indeed. So
Yeah.
It's all right actually. It's a very nice kit.
Some aeroplane.
Proper aeroplane.
I think it's definitely the best one in 48.
Yeah, I like it. It's a nice kit. It goes together because, you know, Airfix, everyone takes sometimes the piss, and I think very wrongly, because this is a classic example. It's actually a really nice kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Wonder what I think, because their Mark 1 Spits out now. I wonder what that would have a build comparison with the Tamiya one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Just to see how, you know, just to see how they both stack up against each other. That'd be quite a cool thing to do, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be actually.
Again, it's it's like the thing I say about like the Airfix catalogue. It's like the Hurricane, Spitfire, Lancaster should never be sort of retired. They should be staples in the catalogue
everyday builds.
every year because they're going to sell.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, it's like, especially with the Hurricane, like Phil was just saying, it's a very underrepresented kit
Yeah.
by manufacturers. And, you know, as obviously Airfix, their releases is mainly for the UK market.
Yeah.
And, you know, why it gets dropped, I don't know. And, you know, because it's only probably out this year because of the Battle of Britain.
Yeah.
you know. So, and then it'll probably go again. And you know, I know it's been out in different sort of forms as the Sea Hurricane's been out. I think the Trot version's been out. So they have, but the actual Mark 1, which is it's probably best known for, just be a staple with a Mark 1 spit.
And also, let's face it, they always say it was the backbone of the Battle of Britain, wasn't it, and all the rest of it. And again, I know it's not a Spitfire, and for some reason the Spitfire always took the glory, but you think it would be a more poignant aircraft in the great thing. It's a bit like a Mustang and a P-47. You know, as I say, you've got the Mustang, and then you're like the glamorous one, and you've got like the P-47's like a tank, you know. But again, it's well represented in the model. You know, every manufacturer does a P-47, but Hurricanes, no one really does them. You know? So
it's only the manufacturers will know why.
Yes.
But I'm glad it's back out anyway. Like I say, we're definitely going to get them stock back in next week, so that'll be good. I think price-wise as well, it's pretty reasonable. So, yeah.
Again, that's the other thing that I think people, if you're not aware of, obviously we've got a lot of new viewers on here and stuff like that, is that Airfix, if you're thinking it's old school, they're not. Their new ones are very nice. Classic example, that is a really nice kit, goes together very well. Their Spitfire does as well. All their new stuff is actually nicely done. Obviously, we've got Pramjit coming back on next Thursday night with us. You know, and obviously he's a designer with them, and he'll talk to you all day long about new and old. But the thing is that their new stuff's good detail right the way through. I know I take the mix sometimes because they tend to skip things like riveting. You know, they do very nice details right the way over it. But again, classic example, it's got very nice details all over that Hurricane. You know, it's just their bigger bombers. I think they tend to miss out some of the details, shall we say, like riveting, which I'll have a word with Pramjit about. Although I think he knows. Morris says, just finished the Airfix 148 scale Buccaneer in Gulf War colours. All okay until I applied the Humbrol matte varnish. It's turning flaky and white when dry. Any recommendations to fix it? And could you recommend a flat varnish? Do you know what I've been watching recently, because Airfix are on a bit of a thing at the moment all over Facebook, aren't they, with all their product range, and they've had like decal fix, and you know, as you say, then they come at some of their products, I'm like, oof, Jesus, that's one of them. So flaky white tends to be it's on too thick. What it is, the medium they put into it is very much like Tamiya flat base. So if you put it on too thick, and when it dries, you almost get that sort of frosty look. I don't know the best way to describe it, but it's like a powdery effect, isn't it?
It's almost like a winter wash.
Yeah, you can almost make a winter camo out of it. Yeah. There is a couple of things you can do, so don't panic. Literally, is to wipe it with a microfiber cloth. So sometimes you can physically wear it off. So it's like sanding it. If you've got a very, very old, very fine sanding sponge that can conform a bit, you can lightly go over it as well to try and dull it down and get a lot of it off, because that's what it is. It's just too much of it on there. You're supposed to put on a very light coat, but because a lot of people, you know, trying to bury decals and stuff, you go too heavy and then you get this white frosting effect. As for what to go over it, or you know what you would do then, once you got most of it off, I would suggest going over it almost with like a gloss and trying to sort of eat into it to soften it out and get rid of it.
Sorry, I got made him messaging on the chat. I'm sorry, Phil.
Oh right.
Sorry, he's just put after me.
What's that?
We're being naughty schoolboys, aren't we?
And we're trying to keep a straight face, and I can't. So.
So yes, it's one of those things where, you know, because you've made it, try and get back as much as you can. So if that does involve glossing over it and all the rest of it, you know, to try and get it back. As for what to use next time, I wouldn't use it. I don't like their varnishes. There's lots of other things out there on the market. Nathan's a massive fan of extra acrylics flat varnish. Wasn't that XXA1 they call that, or something, the part number?
Yeah, XAFF.
XAFF, that's the one.
I'm not without. I thin it with water, and when it's gone on too thick, I've literally brushed it off sometimes just with my thumb, and it doesn't, because it's acrylic, it doesn't attack anything underneath it. It's really, really forgiving. Where you've been spraying away and you've realised you've put too much on, I've literally just grabbed a cloth, wiped it off, and it's done no harm to anything underneath it. I've never had it frost up, because varnish is one of those things where I'm really sort of sticking to my old ways, because I know this works for me. I'm very nervous about using any lacquer-based enamels or lacquer-based or enamel-based flat coats, because it's the stage that you don't want the model to get ruined, isn't it? Because you've done hours and hours and hours of work on
I must admit, people who know me will know I don't actually use flat coats or a finishing coat. I tend to polish them a bit and like them to be a little bit tonal. It's my way, you know. Probably looks crap, but I enjoy it, because when you look at the model, the A10 is the classic example, because if you look at it, it looks flat, and then you look at it from another angle, it looks like gloss, and that's because I've polished the panels and things. Yeah. Anyway, if you're for a normal one though, I don't think you can go far wrong with using Tammy's XF86. It's what I tend to use, and I spray it over my models before I come in with like the wash and with oils, because it's got enough grip to have it, but it is a nice stable flat coat right the way through. Matt, what do you use?
I think the same as you. It's really good.
I find it very hard to go wrong with that stuff. That's the thing, you know.
Bulletproof. It's pretty bulletproof.
It's pretty bulletproof, yeah.
And if you want it dead flat, don't use leveling thinners. Just use a normal lacquer thinner. I mean, the rapid thinner makes it go ultra flat.
Oh, it is
if you're just using the normal lacquer thinners, then you'll get a flat finish, but you know, not like Candy got on his Fop Wolf, where it was just dead. It was dead. Yeah. So yes.
This works for me on aircraft. I don't think it's great for armour, because you can't get it as flat as you. Yeah. I can't make this go as flat as.
Yeah. But then to make that stuff go dead flat, and it's what I did to my 32nd Harrier. To give it that type of scale effect. In those days, before like now, I would sand it, but back then we would varnish it. I actually give that a good shake now, completely, right, and then let it stand for an hour and take the top bit off, just the cream off the top, because it'll be thinner on the top then, and spray that neat. That'll give you dead flat. But again, don't put it on too thick, so it'll turn white and chalky. But a nice one over it will give a totally flat finish, and that's what I did to my the Harrier, 32nd Harrier.
Right, I might give that a whirl next, because I'm at the end of my bottle, but I've got a new one. It's like PVA glue in the jar.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it's proper
really horrible
stuff.
Looking.
It's a bit funky stuff. Phil, what exactly? Phil, exactly what Abdylung colours did you own to weather jets with armour? To be honest, Matt, shameless plug, gave me a load. He gave me a bag of them, which I've got lots and lots of them in here. My go-to colours are, it's neutral grey. Hold on, there's my go-to ones. These are the ones, I tell the ones I use all the time, because they're the ones with dents in them. Where's my, hold on, I've lost it. So my go-to colours that I do all the time is, hold on, shameless plug time, is smoke, as you can see, because it's flat. Bearing in mind I've had this for, well, years now, but anyway, so that's 005, that's smoke, that's what I tend to use pretty much about sort of 80% of the time and everything. Okay, neutral grey, because it is a neutraliser. You can put it on over any grey surface and it'll just lighten it or just make it look grubby. So I quite like that. So that's 100. Okay, Starship Filth is, I've only been using this now the last couple of months and I really like it. It's a funky colour. I can't describe what colour it is even. It's like a blend. It's definitely got a greeny hue to it. It's a bit, I don't know, yeah, Starship. I can't describe it really, but it works. Okay, this one down in here is faded dark yellow, so you can use it for working on yellows to give them a nice look, and if I remember rightly, I used it when I did the yellow areas around the front of my FW190 to weather that in. But this is what I use on the underside for hydraulic streaking, because it's a yellowy orange colour and it looks like hydraulic bleeding on an aircraft. So you know those streaks they get underneath? This is the colour for that one. So it's ABT 20 on that one. And this one generally as well I tend to use, which is the buff. So this I tend to use more of my sci-fi stuff. So if you put white down, and then I'll go over it with a buff wash type over it as well, and it just makes everything, I don't know, more, it's easier on the eye, shall we say. but the buff colour as well. So I tend to use this quite a lot as well. So anything that is got creamy stuff underneath, and if I remember rightly, if I just pop back to where's the, here we go, Wing That Wings is, if we just go to me, sorry, web. So down in here, when we were doing the underside, obviously we used a lot of paint techniques to get the shadowing effect, but also we were going around, there you go. So this is the buff color. So this is that sort of olive drabby color type, whatever it is, World War One. It's got a proper name, but I can't remember what it is. Okay, so this is what I did though. I gave it the buff scrub over the top, and it just wears colors down. So if you're using greens and you want to make them this color, that's what we did. So this is just the buff right the way over it. And again, there you go, side by side. So that's just paint, and then we've come in with the buff scrub over the top. So you basically dry brush it right the way over the paint, and it just makes everything, I don't know, more nice. So, and obviously we did various dot techniques underneath, but also to get this effect as well. This is buff under here, so it gives that linen effect as if it's old, and obviously it looks like the formers are coming through. So it sort of looks a bit like that. So we used it in there as well. So it's one of those strange colours that you forget really how nice it is, but it does work quite well.
It is. And we've got a question of what's the best primer to use for zinc chromate? I'd say grey. Grey primer is just neutral. Works for pretty much most colours. So if you really want it, white, but I'd say grey primer is just, yeah, pretty much perfect for most things.
And then is it XF4 then for zinc chromate? Is that the right one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use it for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Funny colour, isn't it? Greeny, yellowy.
Yes.
Yes.
Tamiya's 132nd F4J has raised hatches along the fuselage on some sides. Some forums suggest this is battle damage on the aircraft. Any thoughts? This is because Tamiya used the F4J that is at Duxford, which is now in, I can't remember, it is one of the Marine Corps squadrons, US Marine Corps, but actually it is an RAF one that we bought from America as an F4J. Then it went down the Falklands, and then it got repainted as an American aircraft, but actually it's an RAF one. What happens is, and funny enough, I've got a friend of mine who worked on them, so hello to Brian. He was explaining to me what it is. What happens is some of the panels get removed a lot of the time, so they put down almost, the best way to describe it is he does, it's like mastic around the panel, then they put the panel onto it, and then they rivet it back down. Okay, so it's a sealed area. And he says what happens is that if this panel comes off a lot and on, and he's saying not that he ever would, but some people don't clean off the old mastic around it, so the panel actually becomes slightly raised. In theory they should clean it all off and then put it down, but as he says, on the boat no one cares, so it's literally just another bit of gunk all the way around it, and then they'll put it on top and they'll re-rivet it. So it has got the steps onto it, and I haven't got it here anymore, that's me pointing for it, but yeah, so on the panels on the Tamiya kit, it's got them as raised panels. It wasn't the same for every aircraft. It just so happens that one has it, and it's on the intake tops, and that's all it is. But Tamiya saw it, thought it was part of a normal aircraft on an F4J, and moulded it in with their moulds. So consequently, if you want to be perfect, you can take them out and sand them flush, and away you go. But personally, it's a lot of work and there's a lot of detail around those, so I would leave it on there, and I left them on mine because I think it looks nice as well. But that's what it is. The panels are slightly stepped up, but the kit makes them a little bit more exaggerated more than they are. But if you do go to Duxford and look down on it, because you've got the ramp going round it, the horseshoe shape, you can actually look down at it and see them. So if you ever want to make an exact one, just look at the one at Duxford, because that's the one Tamiya used for all of their drawings and inspiration, and all the measurements came from that exact aircraft. So hence, whilst it's got all the panels erased on that one, is what's on the F4J kit. And obviously the F4J kit was reboxed about 3 or 4 times with different markings for the Marine one, the normal Navy one, things like that. So that's why it's like it. So again, technically it's not correct, but I like it, so I would use it.
Right, just on our chat, which is somebody's a really fair point on here, which would help us no end, as Nathan's answered and I have as well. If people are asking questions, because the chat does move so fast as people can obviously see who's in the chat, if you could put a question and then what you want to ask us, so we can see it, do you know what I mean? So it just stands out a bit more, because stuff is getting lost, and I can see people probably getting frustrated that we're not sort of answering or, you know, paying attention.
Right.
It's not the case at all. It's just seriously, the chat just goes that fast and then it's gone. I know, like Phil said before, just keep posting it and whatever, just so you know, we can see it really. Because like Bobby's just put, question, does Testa's dual coat work over acrylic paint like Tamiya XFs? I would have thought it should.
Should do, yes.
I can't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would just help us really, guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really good idea from David, in it, who put it up.
Yes. You know, that is always the thing with this forum, guys. It jumps a lot. Luckily, though, the YouTube one doesn't. You can scroll it, and that's the nice thing. So I've got it there, working my way through. The trouble is, though, as you say, I'm probably 10 minutes behind. So there's no right or wrong. If you want to keep it live, just post up the question again. So otherwise it does get rotated. But like we said before, like I always say, just if we don't answer it, just post it again. No one thinks you're having a go or anything else. It's just that it moves so quick, the Flory chat, you can't keep up with it. It's almost impossible to keep up with it. So yes.
But I can only see 1, 2, 3, 5 at the moment.
Yeah.
Type something quite long, I can perhaps only see 3 people's posts, then it moves. Roger's asked a question, who does a Bentley kit?
I think somebody's answered this before. He's asked before. Airfix, Revell. I mean, if it's the blower one, Heller's reboxed it. It's an old kit though. And then Airfix did the big 1/12 one. As in for any other Bentleys, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know if there must be, but I don't know who does them. But if it's on about the blower, the classic blower, then yeah.
I mean, that's where Scalemates is your friend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Scalemates for something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, things put. So yeah, again, I think probably Roger's probably missed it because the chat's going that fast.
Yeah, that's it.
It is probably it's just got lost. So
apparently Aero masks now make a digital camo for mask set for the SU-27.
Yeah.
So a couple of people there do it.
So should preference be given to members for what, Ed?
Remember, Ed, this YouTube crossovers just for the COVID lockdown period, isn't it? It is a bit of a special outreach.
This is it's just you know, for everybody, isn't it, really? So as soon as this is over, it'll go back to its normal format of what we were doing before. So yeah.
Sorry, are the peasants revolting? Are they in the chat?
No, don't think so. They're all good.
Get me flaming pitchfork out, I tell you.
Yeah, Bentleys are not very well kitted, are they?
No.
Epics. Yeah.
No, it's not. But again, I presume it's to do with licensing.
I was going to say it'd be licensing because Bentley's Bentley, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Neil's asking about wing nut wings. It's still at the rumour stage, isn't it?
Well, again, depends where you are, because they're saying, I haven't read it out, but I can see it in here. They're saying on the YouTube chat it's been confirmed now. But I don't know where this is.
Website.
Right. Well,
because they're saying here the rumours have been confirmed, they're closing. So
right. What's the best pin vise the team use? Oh God, I've just got a cheapo one. To be honest, I don't use a pin vise anymore. I've got my Proxon drill. I'm lazy.
I've got a pin vise. I use this one, which I've been using forever, and I've got a couple of them. It's just got the swivelly head. Do it like that for pin vices. But again, depends what you're doing, because obviously I've got the other one as well, the display one for all your drill bits and stuff as well, for your reamers and whatnot. But yeah, pin vice is just, but it's he's smart, he's got his Proxon super duper. Go on, show it off. There you go. I'm poor. I've got the poor man's version, the cheap knockoff.
Nate, you're going to read out Ed's question.
Is it the one about the paint?
I'm using Vallejo Model 8. Oh god, it's flicked. Hold on, let me just lock the chat. What's the best way to remove dry Vallejo paint from the airbrush surfaces? I've tried everything, including their own products, cleaner, thinner, etc. What seems to happen is that the paint peels rather than liquefy, which requires a deep clean to get all the surface or all the small particles and peels out of the brush. Any suggestions on an airbrush cleaning media for Vallejo? I use their airbrush cleaner, is that what I mean?
I like Vallejo's airbrush
What, to
cleaner.
strip it?
I think that's what he means.
It's
I
a
have
strip
read
model or an airbrush?
I'm used
Airbrush surfaces. Oh, crikey.
Ooh. God.
Get it off your airbrush. I'm going to put some on one of my cheap Chinese airbrushes and see what.
To be honest, if it's thingy, lacquer thinner.
Yes.
Well, not. Yeah, I mean, lacquer thinner gets rid of everything, doesn't it?
It'll just dissolve everything from acrylic to whatever. It'll just dissolve that, if that's what you mean. Paint fill on which requires a deep clean. But I mean, their airbrush cleaner is fantastic. It depends how long you leave in your airbrush for as well, doesn't it?
The thing is, with all paints, if you've got your airbrush and you let it and it goes hard, then technically you need something really aggressive to get it out, like a lacquer thinners. Because even if you put an acrylic thinner into it, if it's physically dried, it's not going to shift it particularly well. It's going to take forever to break it down. So I would stick something lethal into it.
Yeah. Oh, somebody's phone's going off. Not mine. Mine's not on. Nathan's got a question as well. Nathan seems to build a Rebel Tornado 48. Has he built the 32nd version, and what is his opinion? Jay's built quite a few.
I've built a few, and it's a good kit. It's of its age. It needs a little bit of detail. It's not there. But it's a choice of that or nothing at the moment. The Italeri one's coming out at some point in the future. Don't ask me when, I don't know.
And Mark's put Wingnut Wings website now. The website's down now, apparently.
Well, no, it's not, because I've got it here in front of me, because I've just been and had a look. It simply says, we're sad to announce that due to the challenges at present, COVID-19, we've suspended all our website orders for the time being, but please feel free to continue to contact us at sales@wingnutwings.com.
But that's somebody digging around in their website, I think, because that's the link to that. Is that actually coming up fresh? It's still not shut. I still think we're in the blackout. Oh no, it's on their website now. It's literally just updated.
Yeah, they closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, like, to be honest, we'll just have a quick brief discussion about it. You know, I'm not being funny. We've all been in business in one shame or another, and we were discussing this last night because a lot of us have worked for companies when they have ceased trading and have had administrators in and things like that. What's happening now doesn't ring true to anything like we've ever been through before. And I've worked for a company that's gone into administration and they've been liquidating assets and things like that, and it doesn't sound like it's anything like that. You know, Nathan's been into a company as well, and it's happened to him, and various different things. Nathan's was a different way to mine as well. So again, it doesn't sound like it's, you know, been closed down from an administrative side of things. No, it may be that they're doing it voluntarily closing, but people were talking about that they were liquidating assets and things like that. That tends to happen when administrators have been called in and they are trying to get the money back from what's owed to suppliers, said, and everything else. It doesn't sound like it's anything like that. You know, I know it's maybe different in New Zealand how they do things, but business generally tends to be the same no matter where you are. It just doesn't sound like somebody's pulled the plug on them. Let's put it that way. It sounds like it's more of a voluntarily closing down, but until somebody turns around and says we're closing, you know, we're shutting shop. But the way it was first done, it sounded like the administrators have been called in. You know, people were making sort of accusations that way, and if that had happened, then they wouldn't have still been taking orders and everything else, although now they have suspended it.
If you read another line, it says email sales@wingnutwings.com if you're interested in ordering in the future.
Yeah.
Let you know when sales resume.
Yeah, so that doesn't sound like they're
is classic fake news territory that this has been floating around on forums for a week, and people have layered up to gone bust into receivership or liquidation.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. I still think we just need to sort of put a lid on it and wait and see.
Oh yeah, when like we've said before, if they announce the closing for good, they're packing in, we can have an whole show on it.
Yeah, we
We've
would
said
have
it.
the whole show.
Yeah.
Until there's something official, I don't think we want to get involved.
Because again, this is, to be honest, like they're talking about it on the YouTube side of it here, and they were saying, but it's come from a designer. Until a designer, you don't care. It could be the guy who sweeps the floor. You know, at the end of the day, I want it to come from the boss, the CEO of the company. Then I'll believe it. I'm not believing it from anybody who works for the company, because I'm not being funny. It may be a case of sour grapes. You know, he might feel a bit pissed off. He's lost his job and he's now spatting on a forum. You know, until we actually hear it from a CEO, I don't care who says it. I always take it from the horse's mouth, not from the feet. You know.
Yeah. The thing that made this is going to sound like a proper teacher now. The thing that made me suspicious with the very first announcement was the grammar, and the way it was written was bloody awful. And it didn't look like the sort of professionally put together message that you'd get either from Wingnut Wings, a manager at Wingnut Wings, or a liquidator. It just looked badly written and badly phrased. As soon as I saw that, I was like,
because I got here, like, you know, Frederick, who are you? Do you work for Wingnut Wings? He's saying here, guys, we are closed for good. I'm sorry, the whole team was made redundant on Wednesday.
that might
But
be true.
who, you know, Frederick, who are? Do you work for Wingnut Wings? You know, that's the thing. We don't know who, you know, it's all very well these people saying these things, but who are they?
It didn't look like an officially put together press release statement from a very well run company. It just didn't look right. And it came from a forum, and it came third, and it was almost like Dave said, Bob said, Richard said.
See, again, not being funny, Frederick's just come back and said, no, I was quoting the designer. But again, we're hearing this all from the designer, but
Who's the designer?
Who's the designer? You know, who is he in the thing? Is he part of the management structure team of it?
Right.
Is he the CEO or?
Listen, what is the context, right? This is like having Pranjit on.
Yeah.
Him saying it.
Yeah, that's right.
And him saying it. I'm not thinking with Pranjit, but Pranjit's, you know, that sort of thing. But it's not coming from, like you say, a CEO or somebody at the top and saying, right, for whatever reason, we've got to close, we're not going to trade no more, whatever. So it's all just.
I mean, the thing that everybody's been made redundant, maybe they've all been furloughed or made redundant like British Airways was going to do, and then to be rehired in 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks time. I'm not sure if New Zealand has got furlough.
Well, we know, because obviously John's just come back from New Zealand, that they're on complete shutdown. They're letting nobody in and nobody out, basically.
Mark's put it brilliantly. Let's drop it for now. Let's sleep in bed.
That's it. Well, the guys are down here. They're saying apparently that email doesn't work. But, you know, again, it's one of those things where, you know, because also this rumour thing's been going for so long now, I'm less inclined to believe it because I'm not being funny. Like for me as a company, as we sit here, you know, me and Matt are co-owners in, you know, PM Models. If there was a rumour going round now saying that PM Models was in the shit and it's closing down, we'd be the first ones after a week now to jump online and say, yeah, I'm sorry, it's true, blah, 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 and back it up. But the bit where nobody officially is coming forward and saying anything, I'm very sceptical about it. It could be just they're closing down because of COVID, and that's happened all over the world, let's face it. You know, many, many millions of companies now, I assume, are in shutdown for one form or another. You know, and it may be that they are thinking, as probably a lot of companies are at the moment, about restructuring things when they come back and doing things slightly differently. You know, but again, I'm just very skeptical because if I thought there was a lot of information out there at the moment that was wrong, I would say something about it. You know, it just, I think I'm just holding fire until, because like we've said, and not being funny, this could be the biggest marketing bluff ever to sell Wingnut Wings kits. You know, and I don't want to sound to be skeptical, but I've seen this before. We've had other manufacturers say that they're going and then all of a sudden they haven't, you know. So, yeah. Very, very difficult. I think there's a lot of people out there who are trying to get the news first, and until it's right, I don't get involved. I've been burnt in the past, to be honest.
I think that's the same thing with Airfix and their recent sort of spoilers.
Yeah. Yeah.
The people that are doing this on forums, like, have you seen this? Just, they ruin it for so many people that work so hard to build excitement around the Telford release. And somebody spotted something on YouTube where they made a little slip, and then it just ruined it. And a couple of years before that, Airfix had a calendar.
Yeah.
And as you click through the days, and someone went digging on like a website ripping type exercise and spoilt the whole month.
Absolutely.
It's just, we're not journalists looking for a scoop, really.
That's it. I think that in some ways that's the biggest trouble with the internet is that everybody wants to be first. And I think a lot of people are quite happy to exaggerate to be first, to get it in there and everything else, just to be that sort of, you know. And to be honest, that's just the world we live in at the moment. In the days, it used to be the papers, wasn't it? Running back to a phone box, got the scoop. Now it's the internet, isn't it? And now anybody can be a journalist. Any website can shove this information out and do it. And if they are right, then I am very, very sorry. And it's very, very sad to let Wingnut go. If they are right, I'm really upset with Wingnut Wings for not putting it straight, that somebody hasn't come out and made an official announcement to say the rumours are unfounded, it's wrong, or they should be putting out there saying, yes, unfortunately, we have had to take this decision. But it needs to be an official announcement on their homepage, signed by the CEO, you know, to say this is what's happening. And again, I feel really sorry for the guys who clearly work for the company, who are obviously in limbo with all of this as well, because it can't be easy for them. So it's just one of those things, unfortunately, until I hear it, I am not saying anything, you know, it's all whispers.
Right, let's move on.
So Daryl says, quick question on priming colours. Generally, should white be used for priming colours such as reds, yellows, etc.?
Yes, 100%.
100%, especially if you're doing day glow and those types of colours. You definitely want to put white down first, because it's just a lot easier to cover white, and it'll reflect the colour better as well.
It would, yeah.
Gordon says, stop press, Airfix are still trading. Good, because I'll be really upset if Pranjit's got the sack.
Yeah, especially before next Thursday.
Yeah, I need him on for next week.
Yeah.
I've just baked on some Model Air onto this cheap airbrush. It's boiling up now because I've baked it.
Yeah.
Tamiya X20A's taken it off. If it's really dry and crispy, no. But Tamiya X20A's just cleaned it off. I have to leave it overnight and ruin this airbrush and say, come back to this when we're on next week. What's this? Here's it. I have to ruin an airbrush in one go. I'm just going to leave that paint in there and leave it to sit for a weekend. See if I can simulate this problem.
It'll be fine.
So I'll leave that for till Monday.
Just out of curiosity, Phil, are you going to have a run round to the forum? Because I thought that's what we were going to do today.
We were. Right, okay. We can get away from everything then. Right, okay. So in the forum...
Chat suspended.
Suspended.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Absolutely. The Cumbrian Ball, I have no idea. Right, okay, so we've got up here as well the MIG-SIG final reveals section. When does this end? Some point in the future. I think it ends at the end of June, isn't it? Yeah, it would be, because it's a SIG. Or is it? Might be a bit more closer. Hold on, I'll go back and check. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus, I'm in the wrong section. Hold on, everyone. We're all out of sorts now talking about this rubbish that's going around the internet. MIG-SIG, 30th of April. Christ, you've only got 2 weeks. Quick, everyone, get that finished. Anyway, we've got 108 builds in there, so let's have a look at the final reveal. We need the music now. Cue the Tony Hart music. Okay, we've got a MiG-15 from Brian. It's the Tamiya one. Oh, that's smart. Look at that.
That's nice and bright, isn't it?
That's a nice colourful one, isn't it, with the green? So
another hard to get kit.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a weird kit. They need to release that properly, don't they?
I don't know why it's not in their catalogue, that MiG-15. Because it's very rare Tamiya drop anything, so we can't even get on a special order. Which is, I don't know, which is weird.
And it is funny for Tamiya as well, because normally they keep their good kits going.
Yes,
Let's face it, their Harrier's still going.
Yeah.
Not good, is it? You know, you'd prefer that in the catalogue than that Harrier.
Yeah, that definitely. That's nice. That like that, nice and
Yeah.
clean, very
Yes.
sparkly.
Yeah.
I was going to say what it needs is some dark dirt wash, but there you go. You don't have to, but he does say he's got a bottle of it down there. If you want to keep it clean, keep it clean. But that does look very, very nice, very smart. Good job on that one. Right,
Yeah,
we've
nice.
also got another MiG-15. Quite popular, clearly. This is, whose kit's this? This is the Edard MiG-15.
Oh, that's a lovely kit as well. That's a nice build, that.
There we go. Very nice
built-
indeed.
Have you built that, Nate?
Yeah, I've built one of those.
Well done, Jason. Nice one, that. Very
Yeah,
cool.
nice.
And we've also got the Great Wall Hobbies MiG-29.
In the digital.
Oh, the digital. We saw this the other day, didn't we? Then
Yeah.
we'll have another look. Because that's smart scheme, that. Very nice. Digital. Yes. Very, very smart indeed. Okay, what else have we got? Have we got any more down here? I think we're up to date to where we were the other day, aren't we? Let me click in
Oh,
new.
yeah.
Hold on, let me go in the news section. Trophy pack MiG-15. Ooh. Weathered in as well. Very nice job.
Yep.
Nicely weathered metal, that.
Burnished aluminium. Or
Yeah.
aluminum. Very nice. Very cool. Very good indeed. And we've also got, what have we got? MiG-21. Very nice. This
That's
is
not Andy.
Steve.
That's nice then.
No. Andy's a little bit to go yet. Bearing in mind he's got 2 weeks to finish it. He's going to have to get his finger out now, isn't he?
We can remind him later.
Very nice indeed.
Yeah, it's cool that.
It is a cool scheme, that, I must admit. I remember when that kit first got released, having those markings on the box, it was like, ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
And stick that next to a Kafia or a Mirage with its IVIS
Yeah.
identification marking. It looked cool, wasn't it?
Or in those, with the Phantoms as well, in that point as well,
Yeah.
wasn't it? They were floating them round.
Yeah.
Very nice indeed. Cool. And where are we? We just seen that one, didn't we? Sure we saw that. No, 72nd one. Did we see that one? Was that Keith? No, different one. Oh, that little baby one. This is the Artillery one.
Polish.
In the Polish markings.
That's someone with a big picture on the spine, yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, this one
I
did the
love
American tour, wasn't it, with that?
Yeah.
So is that the Artillery one, did you say? Or Trump?
Yeah, it is.
Hilarious.
Oh, right.
Little baby one. I built that kit. To be honest, mine did not come out as good as that. Mine came out absolutely bloody awful.
I know Nathan built the Apex one, didn't you?
I did. Still not quite finished it, kind of got stuck.
Nice one, Keith.
Well done, yeah.
Good job on that, because mine looked absolutely awful. ICM MiG-25 in flight. Look at that for a stand.
That is a problem. That's a good idea.
That's a good job.
That is cool, Stan.
So yeah, Robert, we like that. We like that a lot.
I tell you what, I like that stuff.
It's all it pilot figure. No pressure on
Yeah.
me then. Hey.
No, not at all.
Look at how the hell's that even on there? Jesus.
No, that's amazing, Stan. There.
Just about on there, isn't it?
Because that's not a light kit, is it?
No, it's not. It's not small either, is it? It's big old kit.
No.
Nice job on that. I like that stand. That's cool.
Brilliant, that is, with that done.
Nice weathering. Nice paint job. It's nice to see it not in grey, to be honest, because everyone does the standard grey version.
Yeah.
Traffic grey. It's nice to see it in camo. Did it do a lot of lower level work?
Don't know, is that RB?
Don't know. Don't think so. Is it?
Don't know. What to
See the front. Where's the front?
Oh,
Oh yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah, it's the RB version. Nicely done. Very cool. Very impressed with the stand.
Yes.
That would terrify me. Looks like he's bolting through. It's probably got a huge system holding that through, but it looks so delicate on that with just the tips.
Really
Just
well.
the
It's
tip.
got that pink sealant thing around the cockpit as well.
Yeah, yeah. The old salmon pig cockpit. There you go.
Really good.
It's funny because, you know, technically, you see, you know, a lot of people would say that doesn't look, it looks like a rough job, but if you've seen it, it physically looks like somebody puts it in with their thumb. Because I've got some really nice high-vis shots of it, and that is actually spot on. That's a nice job, because it literally looks like somebody goes along and pushes it in there with their thumb. It's rough as hell, so that's actually a really nice job, like that. Cool. Very good. Like the stand.
Yeah, that's really well built. It sets it off lovely.
Okay, MiG-19. Very nice. Nice with the blue on there. Nice bit of colour, because obviously with the metals with the red stars, then you get a little bit of colour. It's like that MiG-15 early with the green. It just really sets it up. It really draws the eye to it. It makes the metal look nicer. If it was just metal everywhere, I don't think you would appreciate it, but you get the contrast with the blue right the way through with the different panels of shading and the weathering on it. So it's very nice indeed.
I like that.
Yeah, I do as well.
Anyway.
It looks like a space rocket from above that aircraft.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, it's proper futuristic, isn't it?
Yeah.
But no, as well, nice job on the weapons. Yeah, good all-round build. There we go. The pair together.
Just a quick question: why do MiG only use odd numbers?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Again, our Russian Soviet expert's not on.
No.
He might know.
It's a fairly good question.
Comrade Buller's having a day off, is he?
Yeah, Conrad.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be in chat if he heard out about him, couldn't he?
Yeah, okay, so we're up to date with that one. So well done, everybody. Some great work in there. So literally you've got just under 2 weeks to get them finished off. So loads of different ones going on in there. So as I say, it's 108 potentially.
Loads of time.
We've got 41. Yeah, everyone's got plenty of time on your hands. Let's get on with it. Chop chop. Okay, so the Latvian, we spoke about it. Somebody was asking on the live chat yesterday, saying, wouldn't it be great? Funny enough, here at Flory Models, we've actually got our first group build of the year, which is all South American, or really Latvian, including the Caribbean, I think we agreed, to be having these ones. So some nice stuff down in here. There we go. Look, a duck.
A duck.
The duck, Argentinian one. The Merit kit.
Crikey.
Who knew? Nice job on that.
And just to say, it's Latin, not Latvian.
Yeah. Latino.
Yeah. We could do that next.
Yeah, is that the next one?
The Latvian group build. Yeah, that's good, that.
Very good, that. Very nice, that. Like that. AMX. Where's the picture then?
Where's the picture?
Oh no, sorry, not loading through. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Ian. Kinetic Mexican Hawkeye from Steve. Oh, that's nice. That turned out alright, actually. Look at that.
Yeah. I didn't know the Mexicans used them.
Anti-drug work, I think they were giving them, weren't they?
Oh, right, I don't know. Got no idea.
I think they do use them for a lot of anti-drug work as well.
Yeah, it's going to spot the little Cessnas popping around.
Yeah, and the boats on the surface as well, because it's got surface radar as well, so... Nice job. I have fond memories of doing mine.
Cool build.
So, yes. Cool job on that one. Okay, so we've got this is the F6F Hellcat 48 scale. The proper markings.
Yeah, Uruguay Navy.
Bonus because he's got a mouse mat. Sorry, who was this? Malcolm. It makes a very good display stand, the mouse mat. They are available. Very nice. Cool markings. Again, a lot of people seeing the markings like me are like, who the hell's that?
Yeah, you've never. If you showed me that roundel,
I'd have no idea.
You know what? I haven't seen either, to be honest. Hey, tell you what, do the if you could get them bigger, you could do the 24th Apex one.
Yeah, I tell you, I like he's weathered in the way he's done it, faded it in. Even the markings are all faded in as well. Nice job on that. Very, very nice job. Well done, Malcolm. Cool build.
Yeah, so that's different.
Wealth we got FIV Tiger. Oh, we like a Tiger too. 32nd. Oh, go on, work. Why aren't you working? Oh, sorry, they're down here. Sorry, there's a big gap. That fooled me then. I was waiting for something to come up.
That was dramatic pause.
A dramatic pause. There we go. Bonus points for using the Flory Models Dark Dirt Wash. Other washes are available. Nice. Again, with the Brazilian markings.
Yeah.
Very nice. Everyone likes a Brazilian. I'm told.
Full camo pattern. No.
Allegedly. Very nice.
Yeah, smart that.
I quite fancy doing one. I know it's sad, but it'd go for my DCS collection.
What, an F5?
Yeah, because I fly it. I haven't flown it for a long time, but I used to fly it in DCS all the time. But yeah.
You've got AFD+1, haven't you, in your stash?
I have, yes, I do. That's the thing. I've got the AE and N version, so I might have to do it. Watch this build, might be this year. Oh look, Skyhawk without a massively long name for a change. This is the Airfix and the Fujami ones together, look. So which is which? That's the question. Ooh. See, that's got you now, isn't it? Whose is who?
Go on, Nate, you built the Airfix one.
To be honest, I'm trying to find differences between them. Actually, they are so close. The canopy is slightly different on them, isn't it?
I think the Airfix one is the furthest one away.
Right. Well, I don't know either.
That one
Could be.
is the Airfix one.
Oh,
Because the canopy on the Airfix one, to me, it looks...
I was going to say. What, you think that top one is the Airfix one, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Couldn't tell you.
See, if I was guessing, I'd say it's the other way around. I thought this would be the Airfix one and that would be the other one. Only, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm actually saying. I like the battle damage. Cool, look, taking some shots there.
Yeah.
Sort of running with a Sea Harrier, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, I must admit, that's trying to see the differences between the two. They're very close. We'll never know. Hold on, we're going to have to go back and have a look. Okay, paint use. Okay, fill. Anyway, Fujami one and Airfix one.
Second sentence at the top.
Sorry?
Airfix kit is the one with the battle bullet hole damage.
Ah, so which did you say? See, I've got it wrong then. So that was it. I thought that was the Fujami one. I thought this was the Airfix one.
So I was right then.
So you were right. I have to say you were right.
Yeah.
If you look at the tail as well, it's slightly different in the tail.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool.
The canopy is definitely different on the Fujimi one.
Yeah, that's it.
But I always think, to be honest, right, and I presume the Airfix one's actually right, but I always think it looks wrong.
Yeah, do you know what? That's why I thought that this one here was the Fujimi one, because it looks like it's too squished, and this one looks a sharper canopy.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. God.
But anyway, they both look spot on.
I don't like this one anyway. I prefer the one with the hump. I like the M with the electronics in the hump. Even though I have got this kit in 32nd here, I'm looking at it now because I was going to do it as an aggressor back in the day. Anyway, moving on. Super Tucano. Oh, the Digi one. Saw this one last time. That is nice, a cool scheme. It really is a proper cool scheme, that.
It is, yeah.
In fact, I have to say that's probably my favourite scheme of this group build.
Oh, is it Colombian, is it?
Yeah.
Is that Colombian or Venezuelan?
It's the
Brazil. FAE, what's that stand for? Where's that era? Ecuador?
Oh, it could be Ecuador.
He doesn't say, does he? He said the decal's sourced from Brazil, but he doesn't say it's a Brazilian whatever. Oh, God, we need info.
I tell you what, it could be Ecuador now, thinking about
Ecuadorian.
It's got FAE on the wing, so I can't speak Spanish, but doesn't the F stand for where something?
See, look, where's Dora the Explorer when you need her? If Dora was here now, she could help out.
Ecuador grounds put up on.
Yeah, there we go. Ecuadorian. That's it. Now, that's a smart scheme.
That is.
It's a smart plane as well. Very nice. That's it. Thank you, Roger. Roger's down in chat as well. He's shouting out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. That.
Mr. Flory, your nails are always so clean when we see your hands on camera. What's your secret? My hands look like, what's that, Stig of the Dump when I'm modelling. To be honest with you, I'm one of these people where I saw somebody once with minging hands doing this, and that was it. I thought, I will never be that person. Literally, I'm like, I looked at my hands, and occasionally, you know, you get bits on there. And again, at that point, I stopped chewing my nails. Oops, sorry. I stopped chewing my nails and everything, and that was it then. I thought, I will not be that person. Because it does look minging. Yeah, I gave up the pipe and everything.
Yeah. Oh, a bit of armour.
Ooh, well, we saw this one. This is the one with the nice blade. We're up to date.
Yeah, we're up to date. What's happening in the COVID?
Right, okay. COVID corner.
Finishes in that.
Hold on. Into COVID.
Oh no.
Hold on. Back. Here we go. 34 finishers in COVID land. It amazed me how quick everyone's finishing these because no one's got anything else to do.
So which one's this one? Is this the restoration job or?
No, that's just the normal built one, I think.
Yeah, that's one.
Very nice.
Scrubs up okay, doesn't it?
It does. See, that's a kit that holds its own in modern day.
Yeah.
Well done, Alan. Very nice. Just shows how literally everyone says it that they were so ahead of their time.
Ooh.
Oh, James's carriage, or was it rolling stock? Oh God!
Rolling
Don't tell
stock.
my partner, I'll get lynched. Seriously, there's a difference between carriages, rolling stock, wagons. It's like really technical.
We'll shout to get her in
She's
quick.
the biggest nerd I know, so she's fine. That's why I know nothing about trains, and she knows everything. It's like, yeah, very nice, very cool. We saw that one. It was just a couple of flat bits of plastic. Surprising what you can do.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it?
Very good. Double O gauge. What's that? 176, isn't it? Double O gauge? Yeah, 176. Okay.
We've seen that one, I think, didn't we?
We
That
have
the prop.
seen it. Yeah, I think we're up to date on these. We only looked the other day.
Yeah.
Very smart job on that one.
Cool.
Very good. Are we
Yeah.
on there? G55.
We're up to date, aren't we? Yeah, we're up to date.
We're up to date. We're all good. Don't forget, guys, get them updated. Pop them in, and we can show them for you.
Yeah.
Get them out on the old sections out there. I've got some great ones, to be honest, that you guys have finished this week for the gallery at the end of the show, including a very nice Alpha Jet, which I will talk about next week, because it's actually a stunning Alpha Jet. It's probably the best Alpha Jet I've ever seen, and you can see that at the end of the show because it's in the gallery section.
Cool.
Are there any female modelers? Yes, there's loads, but most of them call themselves Derek. And that's not a joke, but a lot of them go under the radar because we've got multiple female modelers on the site who go under because they don't like the male attention, because they want to be known for their models and not for their female side. Gender, yes.
Gender is the word.
Gender, that's the one. Thank you.
Yeah. No, there are some really good ones.
Like we always say, that literally figure painting, and that is the females. You know, the female side of the hobby is where they come alive. They are just so good at it. You know, you look at it and it just, yeah, blows you away. Phil, you mentioned X20A as a last resort for laying down decals. Is that for just sitting down in the panel lines or for flattening out excess material around the edges? I tend to use it, if you use like Microset and so as my go-to one, and if that doesn't work, then I usually come in with the X20A. I've got other ones down there as well, but I like to use X20A because it will soften the decal, and it's a little bit stronger way of doing it. But again, secret, don't put on big puddles of it. Nice thin coat, let it evaporate off and then go again. If you're on about getting into panel lines, put it down as you would, let it dry, and then with a very sharp blade just cut through the panel line along the decal and go through the decal, and then give it another coat, and then that way it will all go into the actual panel line itself. And the same goes with if you've got any type of raised detail, that's just a question of time. So you soften it and it will stretch over, but you still need to release anything that's underneath it. So if you've got water under it or air or anything at all, it's got to be able to get out, otherwise you're going to get a bubble. So sometimes a tiny little prick, bink, and just let it out, and it will let it vent if it's got air in there or anything else, and then again, nice thin coat, let it go. But all too often, most people when I see it, they're thinking a couple of minutes, it's decaling to be done. Decaling can take days. So sometimes if I've got something over a bolty top or something, so it's got lots of things sticking up in it, I tell you what, it's always my nemesis here is when you do the mosquito, you always get that panel above the radiators, and it has that sort of quite raised detail all around it, and most decals, including the Tamiya ones, have this big piece of carrier film that goes over the top because it's got the cross and the no walk on it. Okay, that is always the one where I'll literally put a thin coat over it, leave it, then come in with another thin coat, leave it, because over the course of perhaps 2 days they will bed in beautifully. But if you rush it, it always goes to pot. You end up getting a right mess right the way over it. But again, when we was decaling this one, getting them to go down, they're big decals and it's complex surfaces, trying to get them to go all over these panel lines and everything is quite a bit of work. But whipping around with it, taking your time, a couple of things. We did go in with the Ajima, which was probably a bit of a mistake because these decals are very thin and they tend to melt, so you do have to be careful with those ones. So yes, hand model from Zoolander. No idea. Phil, have you ever farted on a video? Don't know. Have we ever done that? I don't think we've quite done that one yet. We've done got drunk heavily. Probably
we've done a couple of them, haven't we?
We've done a couple of those where everybody's absolutely hammered by the end of a show. Normally at an auction. Well, we'll do another one. So yes.
We could try the 40 next week if you
we
really
could try that. Yeah, get the talc out.
They've got a bloke's boat, isn't it?
What was that bloke? Mr. Methane in the 90s, wasn't it?
I'm thinking more Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles, that's it. Normally it happens when we have a barbecue.
What, farting?
Yeah, when we're all out the back.
yeah, it does, yeah. What are you saying about your cooking?
Yeah, that's it, probably. Yeah, then everyone gets the trots. When are the next live shows, and when is the Airfix guy coming on? Well, we might be doing a show tomorrow because Matt's got nothing else to do.
No, we have tomorrow morning. We could do it. What? Is Tam's working tomorrow then?
Yeah.
Late or?
Yeah,
normal?
no, yeah, she is till 11.
Might do a one tomorrow night then. I've got stuff to do in the day, so we can do it tomorrow evening, even if it's a very informal one like we did last week, because I'll be in here anyway. So
we'll just do some junk round here. Right, okay, so we'll be on what, 7:30?
7:30 till...
Yeah, so we'll be on 7:30 till whenever, tomorrow night, but it'd be very informal. We probably won't even read the chat, we'll just be messing around in here.
Yeah.
So yes, and we'll tell Nape he's got to be here so he can get a get out of jail free card.
Send that to the missus and see what she says.
That's it. We need Nape because someone's bound to ask about paint. Anyway, and as for Thursday nights, because obviously, funny enough, Pranjit does have a job with Airfix, so he can't come on during the days clearly, but he can come on at night. So he did say he'll be on next Thursday night with us. So that'll be that one. How well does the extractor fan remove last night's Vindaloo? Very good. Trust me, this thing will clean out this room instantly. Are we to that level?
I think we've got to that point.
To that time, innit?
Yes. What about the excess carrier film on the outside of the decals? Some edges still show up through the gloss coat.
For the really thick decals.
Yeah.
Can I just ask something? Do you know the Kinetic A6 intruder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does it ever split canopy?
It does, but the new one doesn't.
Oh,
the Kinetic, they've retooled it, haven't they, to have a one-piece canopy instead of having two halves.
But is that the intruder or the Prowler?
Well, definitely the Prowler has been retooled because it does say on the box now with one-piece canopy. But I thought they did it with the intruder as well.
Right, I don't know because we've never had intruder in because we do the Hobby Boss one, don't we?
Yeah.
Perhaps we'll have to get one and see, just out of curiosity.
I did do a review on it a long time ago, and the consensus opinion was because of the canopy, you're better off getting the Hobby Boss one. Because putting that together was a nightmare.
But if they've sorted the canopy out, what would you say then?
Again, there was a small problem because the wing fences weren't moulded on the, was it starboard wing? They were moulded correctly on the port wing, but they forgot to put them on, so you had to put plastic art ones in. But again, they have fixed that as well. But these all happened in the early days and never went back to looking at it afterwards. But when we did the original review of it, when we used to do the Friday show, which was the Friday night show, we used to have the reviews as part of the show. And
Yes.
so again, that isn't a standalone video to go back and look at. But that was the fault we found with it, is that it's a two-piece canopy that you had to glue together, and that was horrible because it was so tight to the framework.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was that on one of the wings, it didn't have the fences on the wings, on the tops of the wings. But I think they've fixed both of those issues now. They've definitely done it for the Prowler because it's got retooled wing system and a retooled canopy.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
It says it on the box, doesn't it? I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is quite nice. But anyway, sorry, back to gloss. How would you bury your decals?
Ooh.
So
Yeah, I
if you've got
think
Tamiya decals are notorious for it.
don't some decal companies do a decent job of tapering it off?
Yeah.
But if you end up cutting the decals too close, you end up cutting the tapering part of the carrier film away, don't you? But if it's really thick, I mean, I've had that.
Oh. 2-pack lacquer.
Well, the trouble is, if you're burying it under a lacquer, is that one of our lot? Yeah, it's handy. It's the thing is, you've got the problem where if you're coating, you're going up as well. You know,
Yeah.
so for every layer you put down, your decal's getting bigger as well. So you're going to have this hump effect. And although it won't be as severe as having a line round the outside of it, you're still going to end up with like a giant zit on your plane, aren't you? As it's lifting up. So you do have to be careful with that one. Sometimes, obviously, if you're spending, like, if you're working on a 1/32 kit, Tamiya decals are always really thick. They're fantastic because they're good solid colour, but they're very thick. So in the past, I've bugged out and used other people's decals. That thing up there, to be honest, we painted all the markings on it. So that's another way to get round it. But again, you know, it's very difficult. You can lightly sand as well, but, you know, I would say a nice satin coat over the top and just pray for a miracle. That tends to be how I go about doing it, and weathering it and try and disguise it more than anything. But luckily though, most manufacturers nowadays, they're not as bad as they used to be. Some decals used to be incredibly thick, but these days they don't seem to be like that.
No. Printing's come on, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's saying, yeah, these, which one's this? Sorry, the guy's talking about other things in here as well. Is that Hasegawa decals? Hasegawa decals don't seem to be that bad if I remember rightly. I've used them on various things. I've got a Japanese F1F over there, and that's all right. But again, the thing is, if they're thin, they can be a little bit opaque. So like the whites, for instance, if you get thin decals, you're always going to have trouble with white underneath. So if you've got camo and you're putting anything with a white, you're going to see the shadow underneath. So you need them to be thick enough to be able to get rid of that.
Phil's just asked a question about the ICM 8111H3. Is it to the Battle of Britain? I think it is, isn't it, that one?
Yeah, yes. I forgot to actually look. I meant to email Neil Robinson, but let me check. I've got a book that'll tell me straight away.
Yeah.
One of the guys who's saying, how do I spray glossy lacquer coat over decals? I'm after a mirror shine on automotive models. Again, I'll get stick for saying it, but automotive 2-pack lacquer. It's thick, it will cover everything. You will not see a decal under it. You don't even have to polish it particularly afterwards, because you put it on a nice thick coat, it will bury it. It's no good on an aircraft because it won't look right, it'll look like a toy. But on a car, you can bury it. So an automotive 2-pack lacquer, i.e. the lacquer itself and a hardener. But, and I will say it just to keep everybody happy, health and safety, honestly, it's horrible stuff. It's not nice. It's, yeah, it's not good stuff to work with. If you're going to use it, make sure respirator, gloves, full PPE, apparently, and everything else like that. So, but 2K for cars, I think it's very hard to beat. If you go and look at mine, I use 2-pack lacquer on all mine, but I get a bit of stick for using it. Apparently it's the thing of Satan, but it works.
It's the blood of Satan.
It is, it's the blood of, it's the tears of Satan, apparently. Who knew? I just thought I was spraying a clear coat, but you know.
Yeah, let's leave that one, shall we?
Yeah, that's another one. We could have a show just as a thing about using. What can you imagine if it was RLM 83 2-pack? Crikey, that's it then. That's a whole monthly show. That one.
Phil, run the credits. We're going.
Oh, right. Fair enough. Anyway, that is it for us today. Don't forget, you can actually see Nathan's part 4, wasn't it, Nathan? Part 4.
Yep. Yep.
Oh God, I've lost our thing. Where's our thing
You
gone?
would,
Oh, I've moved it. Hold on, let me go to vlog. Where are we? So yes, you've got Nathan's part 4. You can see that one. That's out on the main site as well. So if you're a non-member, you can see that as well. That is out there as well. And as well, you can catch, although you do have to be a member, part 11 of the actual MiG-23 as well, which basically is going to get you almost up to here, but I will get it finished off. So you can join us tomorrow at 7:30. Tomorrow night we'll be on, very informal. We'll just be probably getting drunk, talking rubbish, and then we'll be back with you on Monday as always for the normal show, making our way through. So as always, on a Friday, I'm going to leave you with your great work from the gallery. Okay, so say goodbye, boys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
I was not ready to falling like I'm wasted.